So, ich würde es Joey geben, weil, ich finde, jeder hat ein Anrecht auf die Wahrheit. Das ist Joey, ne?
You again? What do you want this time?
Aber erstmal hier irgendwas Neues? Nee.
I think the documents in this box could be of some interest to you.
Really? Where'd you get it?
I found it in an abandoned building nearby. I thought you might want to keep these letters.
Let me see. Ah, letters about my boy. Thank you, sir.
You do not appear surprised or pained by this.
Surprised about what? Harry's my son, I'm his father, and that's all there is to know, don't you think?
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Here's a little something for your trouble. And to remind you to keep your mouth shut about all this.
So, die Kiste haben wir gegeben, Schillinge haben wir bekommen. Okay, hier gibt's nichts Neues. So, persönliche Fragen. Ist da was Neues gekommen? Okay.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
So, wo ist der Barrett? Da ist er.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you?
Wir haben doch jetzt so... Ja, genau.
Barrett, you had an affair with Joe's wife, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. She's the only woman I loved. My first regret is that she stayed with Joe after Harry was born. The second is I never shed a tear when she died.
Oh Gott. Echt jetzt? Ist Harry ihr Sohn?
Do you mean you're Harry's father?
No one will ever know for sure. And it's better that way. And I don't believe I'd have been all that bad as a dad.
Did you ever try talking to Joe?
Never. But I suspected he knew everything, even without knowing it. And he decided to make me pay in his own way.
Nee, er hat nichts mehr.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Okay, wir wissen also, dass da irgendwas vorgefallen ist und es möglich sein könnte, dass das sogar sein Sohn ist. Oha, und jetzt reden die wahrscheinlich miteinander, ne? Könnte gut sein. So, ja. OBS hat mal wieder seine Macken.
Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure. Sure. Even my
So,
dreams
weiß
are
er
so
denn, dass seine Mutter hier irgendwelche Affären hatte?
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Hier scheint es nicht neu. Nee, gibt's auch nichts. Aber hier bestimmt. Ja.
Do you remember when Barrett Lewis was close to your family? To your mother?
Not really. I was too young. But I remember it was a happier time. Mr. Lewis was funny. He often had dinner with us.
Why are you sad then?
Because it hurts to remember a time when my father used to laugh and smile. It hurts to realize he's as sad as me now.
How was he towards you?
He was nice, I guess. He never forgot my birthday. He always offered me books. I liked books.
Okay. Mehr gibt's erstmal
young
auch vom Sohn nicht.
Take care of yourself.
So, und dann haben wir natürlich noch die Hauptquest. Haben wir eigentlich noch... Pest, die wir verfolgen können. Ja, eigentlich schon. Ah, ich weiß, welche das war. Okay.
Is there only pain and suffering in this world?
Der ist so traurig, der Typ. So. Und da kommen wir ja nach wie vor irgendwie nicht hin. Mal gucken. So, wer ist das denn?
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reid, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost than I thought, my son.
Persönliche Frage zuerst. Sind Ihnen Verwandte geblieben?
Have you any friends? Any family left in these terrible times?
No. But I have a disciple I see as my son. He is so devoted. I sent him to preach the good word in the heart of this corrupted city.
Okay. Wohin haben Sie ihn gesandt? Ihn zum Predigen durch die...
You sent him on some preaching crusade during the epidemic.
As a true believer, Samuel will fear no evil while he walks through the valley of the shadow of death.
Where did you send him?
I sent Samuel to the Stonebridge Cemetery, where the pestilence and evil grows night after night.
Dann... Es steht schlecht um mich?
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Ja, dann erzähl mal.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Ein Vampir. Hi, Demon. Na, wie geht's dir, Demon? Schön, dass du vorbeischaust. Was entsetzt sich so an Vampir? Ein Vampir. So, was ist Ihr Plan?
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Okay, Tobias will die Epidemie mit Feuer bereinigen. Okay. Wie genau werden Sie diese Stadt reinigen?
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Das ist jetzt wieder so eine Entscheidung, ne? Wissenschaft ist unsere einzige Hoffnung? Naja, weiß ich nicht. Wir leben im 20. Jahrhundert, ist auch keine so tolle Antwort. Wo ziehen Sie die Grenze?
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Tobias glaubt, dass Joseph Larrabee, der Vikar von St. Mary's, einen falschen Glauben predigt. Okay. Bin mal gespannt.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than
Das
you
kennen wir ja schon.
All
Gerade.
scientists are entangled in
Kann
a
ich das
Quite a
umgehen?
judgmental...
But you,
So, hier. Ja. Scheiße, wie komme ich denn jetzt weiter zurück? Will mich
Well,
erstmal
what
hier.
do I have heard enough. Goodbye.
Okay, super. Wir haben also die... Ach so, Moment, wir haben ja noch einen
Good
Dialog.
evening, Mr. Whittaker.
It's
Wir
Father
suchen ja noch
Whittaker,
nach der
boss.
Schwester.
So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
Ja, das haben wir ja noch gar nicht gefragt.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Ach so, okay.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in her country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Sie war eine geheime Widerstandskämpferin in ihrem Heimatland. Okay. Ja, jetzt gar nicht so schlimm.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Wir haben Clayton immer noch nicht gefunden, was ich hier umtreiben soll.
Soon the time will come.
Ist er das? Doch, das ist er doch.
Excuse me, sir. Are you familiar with this part of town? Name's Clayton Darby, reporter.
Sorry, I'm new to Whitechapel. But perhaps you could help me since you're a journalist. My name is Jonathan Reid.
Dr. Reid, the famous surgeon. I'll gladly help if I'm able, sir.
Wir mal ganz normal anzufangen.
Why are the newspapers keeping silent about the Spanish influenza? It's as though none of you care.
There's a war going on. People shouldn't be demoralized by news of deadly diseases.
Ist es eine Schande? Ist es kriminell oder ist es logisch?
It's a disgrace. People are left to die alone. No one is properly informed of the risks.
These are bad times indeed. So much for the glorious British Empire.
What is a journalist doing in this borough after sunset?
He goes where none of his colleagues would dare to go, to inform the country.
So you risk your life to reveal the truth. I saw many reporters do the same during the war.
Whitechapel is the crucible of so many untold stories and tragedies. I want people to know them.
So, oh, Erschöpfung. 30% Verlust der Blutqualität. Was hat er denn? Clayton will, dass die Zeitungen der Wahrheit über die Situation in Whitechapel drucken. Klar, interessiert sich Volk dafür.
That's quite honorable of you. But is the public interested?
Not at all, sir. And that's why I'm an independent journalist, hoping to sell some stories.
Okay.
Have you any idea of the danger you face in these streets at night?
I've had to run and hide more than once from frenzied mobs incensed by the fever. Do you think the flu is really responsible for this, Doctor?
Es ist nicht bloß eine Epidemie, würde ich sagen.
I'm convinced there is more at work here than a simple epidemic.
Really? To be honest, I could say the same. Some of the sick I saw or heard of. My God, what happened to them?
Das wissen wir nicht. Weiß nicht, was OBS hat. So.
I heard you're investigating an underground medical dispensary in Whitechapel. What do you know about it?
Not much, I'm afraid. They are wary of strangers, and I'm not really an acquaintance of theirs. Why do you care?
Das ist vertraulich. Das.
I'm afraid one of the nurses from the Pembroke Hospital may be involved with unsavory activities.
Ah, could it be Dorothy Crane?
Without a doubt, you are a damn fine journalist, Mr. Darby. What do you know of her accomplice, a man named Darius?
I don't know much about the man. He's very cautious. Never goes out. Doesn't seem to have any friends or family.
Geht nie aus.
He never goes out?
No. A few days ago, he unexpectedly did. I followed him, but it was just a ruse to keep me away from his house.
Really? How do you know?
He went to the nearest mailbox, but just before posting his letter, he ripped it up and threw it away.
He has no relatives at all?
No, except for that strange man, a poet named Richard Nethercott, who sometimes comes by. Darius would never let him in.
Where can I find this Mr. Nethercott?
He spends most of his time lurking around Whitechapel, talking to himself or declaring verses. These days, you can usually find him behind the church.
Hinter der Kirche.
Goodbye, Mr. Darby. Farewell.
Dann haben wir den Darby ja gefunden. So, was steht da jetzt? Findet die Einwohner von Whitechapel. Spiel, die berichtet sie. Achso. Ja. Schauen. Müssten mal ruhen. Unbedingt. Wie? Was? Mal ruhen können? Kann nicht. Finde den Briefkasten. Ist der hier irgendwo? Ah, da ist er ja, ne? Noch ein Briefkasten. Darius Petruscus. Lieben Kinder, es tut mir so leid, dass ihr einige Monate lang nichts von mir gehört habt. Die Lage in London war schwierig. Ich weiß, es klingt vielleicht egoistisch und töricht, wenn ihr meine Kinder noch in meinem in einem Land lebt, das vom Krieg heimgesucht wird. Aber auch hier in England tobt ein Krieg gegen Armut und Ungerechtigkeit. Diesen Krieg will ich trotz meines fortgeschrittenen Alters führen. Deshalb schreibe ich euch heute. Ich werde nicht nach Rumänien zurückkehren. Das bedeutet, ich sehe euch wahrscheinlich nicht wieder, bevor ich sterbe. Seid nicht traurig, meine. Seid mittlerweile erwachsen, selbst Kinder. Ihr wisst, welche Opfer wir manchmal bringen müssen, um diese Welt zu einem besseren Ort zu machen. Und dieses muss ich nun bringen, damit ich mich ein letztes Mal nützlich fühlen kann. Ich wünsche euch ein langes und glückliches Leben. Gebt meinen Enkeln einen Kuss von mir und vergesst nicht, dass euer Vater euch auch weit ab der kalten Heimat liebt. Euer euch ewig liebender Vater Darius Petrescu.
The content of Darius' letter to his children could give me more leverage to enter.
So, Moment, wir haben hier... Was ist denn? Ist nicht Darius? Ja. Darius möchte seine Kinder nicht mehr sehen, damit er nicht zur Last fällt. Er hat Bronchitis, also wir können ihn entweder heilen oder am Ende erlösen. So. Wir können noch eine Person finden. Und das, wer ist das denn?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reid. I'd like to ask you a few questions. I know what you're thinking. A tall stranger who meets a girl in the street at night. It reeks of the penny dreadfuls. But I mean you no harm, truly.
Kann wohl nicht reden.
I know you understand what I'm saying. Your silence has nothing to do with you being mute, does it?
So, die 3 Punkte immer stehen, das ist lustig. Melia. Noch nichts über sie. Wir wissen nur, dass sie wahrscheinlich irgendwas mit ihm zu tun war. Seine Tochter dann wahrscheinlich, ne? Oder irgendwie so ähnlich. So.
Very well. Goodbye then.